Chiefs Kingdom, we've got real football coming up before you know it, and I want to talk about what has changed since the Chiefs played the Baltimore Ravens in the AFC Championship game. Welcome to the show. This is RGR Football. I'm Gary McKenzie, your host, and I just want to talk about a few highlights of what has changed between the Kansas City Chiefs team and the Baltimore Ravens team heading into this Week 1 matchup. What has changed since they saw each other in the AFC Championship game? So for the Chiefs, we've been talking about it all week long, for the past month. What has changed? I talked about their roster differences last week. But the key takeaways that I want to share with you for what's changed for the Chiefs heading into this game versus Baltimore is Donovan Smith is no longer the left tackle for the Chiefs. He's been replaced by a rookie left tackle, Kingsley Suamataia. And in my opinion, I think this is going to be an addition for the Chiefs. It's going to be a good player for the Chiefs. Kingsley Suamataia is going to do very well at left tackle. He's got the college tape that kind of backs it up, especially in pass pro. He looked great during preseason, particularly in the preseason games. And I think that overall the Chiefs' offensive line has improved. And we'll talk about Baltimore's offensive line here in a little bit, but right now, the Chiefs' offensive line is better. Then the Chiefs also lost 4 wide receivers between the start of last season and the start of this season. So they've brought in Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown, but unfortunately Hollywood Brown is not going to be available in this game versus Baltimore. So the Chiefs' wide receiver room lost, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, a couple other pieces that really didn't get the ball too often, Kadarius Toney. So right now, the main difference between the Chiefs' offense, particularly the wide receivers, whenever it comes to that AFC Championship game versus Baltimore last year, is that the Chiefs now have Xavier Worthy. And we'll see how big of an impact that makes. It would be nice if they had Hollywood Brown available too, but that's not the case. So they're just going to have to do with what they got. Another thing I want to mention about the Chiefs defensively, they lost L'Jarius Sneed. They lost Willie Gay. If you remember, L'Jarius Sneed had a couple huge plays in that game versus the Ravens in the AFC Championship last year, and we'll see how much his departure hurts the Chiefs, and this will be the game to really test the Chiefs' defense because, as you remember, they gave up 10 points versus the Ravens in the AFC Championship game last year, and it's going to be hard to duplicate that. Another thing I want to talk about the Chiefs is just entirely as a team standpoint, one thing that did not change at all is that the Chiefs have the benefit of having coaching continuity going into this game. So they didn't lose any key pieces. And the Chiefs are really in this unique situation from a coaching standpoint where their offensive coordinator was a head coach at one point in time. Didn't really work out for him. Their defensive coordinator was a head coach at one point in time. Didn't really work out for him. Steve Spagnuolo has shown no interest in getting a coaching gig because, he's kind of older and, teams aren't going to want to hire a head coach that they don't think will be able to be around for another 5 years or so. And then Andy Reid, greatest head coach of all time. So they have all these key pieces coming back. And that's something that the Ravens do not have. So what has changed for the Ravens after the AFC Championship loss versus the Chiefs? Before I get to the Ravens, though, make sure that you hit that like button down there and subscribe if you have not done so already. We're trying to get to 30,000 subscribers, so we appreciate everyone who has joined us on this journey of, talking about the Chiefs with RGR Football. Just got nothing but love for all of you that have joined us and all of you who are watching. Hit the like if you can, and then once again, subscribe if you want to. Try and get to 30,000. But what has changed for the Ravens? And I have to say, it is a lot. The Ravens have changed a lot since they last saw the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. For starters, they lost 15 players in free agency. That's 15 players. That's, between a third and a fourth of their entire team. Of those 15 players, they lost 3 starting offensive linemen. And I thought maybe they would have drafted some rookies to come in the offensive line like the Chiefs did. But no, they really promoted 3 offensive linemen that were already on their roster. Now, the Ravens have historically done a great job of drafting offensive linemen almost like the Packers draft quarterbacks. They're okay with having them sit around for a couple years and then after a couple years, they're ready to go and start in the NFL. So these offensive linemen that they promoted are not scrubs. They're not bench level guys. They'll be decent players, but this will be the first real live full NFL game that this group has started. So losing 3 starting offensive linemen is nothing to joke about. And John Harbaugh was asked about, his offensive line, and he's basically said, we can't pay everyone on the team. We had to pay Lamar Jackson and make some choices here or there. We're paying Roquan Smith a lot of money. And so the offensive line is where they decided to take a cut or take a hit in terms of their roster. So that's probably, in my opinion, the biggest difference between the AFC Championship game for the Ravens heading into the start of the season. They also signed Derrick Henry, also a huge difference between this year and last. Now, Derrick Henry is 30 years old, but he did not show any signs of slowing down last year. And the Chiefs are going to have their work cut out for them trying to stop the rushing attack for the Ravens. I think the Ravens heard all the chit-chat that was going on about them wanting to pass the ball too much versus the Chiefs. Now, Spagnuolo was giving them looks in that game that said, I dare you to pass the ball here. I am going to load the box so much, and if you do not pass, it's going to be bad for you. And I think that Spagnuolo is going to have a similar approach to this game where he's loading the box up and daring the Ravens and Lamar Jackson to beat them with Lamar Jackson's arm. And I don't know if that's going to happen in this game. But the Ravens signed Derrick Henry, and I think that if they were to stick to just pounding the ball, they may have a shot to win this game, but I still don't know because the way Spagnuolo was loading the box in the AFC Championship game really made it seem like it would be almost impossible to run against those looks. So I bet the Chiefs sell out against the run again. We'll see if the Ravens lean on the pass again, even though they have Derrick Henry. But that's a big difference for the Ravens this year. Signing Derrick Henry, even though he's 30 years old, the guy can still play some football and is still a physical freak and it's still going to be a problem for the Chiefs. Moving on, coaching-wise, the Ravens lost their defensive coordinator, Mike Macdonald. He was hired as the Seahawks head coach, and John Harbaugh decided to replace him with Zach Orr, who was the linebackers coach for the Ravens. Now, John Harbaugh is bullish on Zach Orr. He loves Zach Orr. He thinks he's going to be a great defensive coordinator. And one thing heading into this game that's going to be different is the Chiefs had a good full long season to look at what Mike Macdonald was doing defensively. They don't really have many cues or much tape to look at to see what exactly it is that Zach Orr is going to want to do defensively. I think that gives the Ravens a little bit of an advantage, and we'll see if the Chiefs' new look offense with Xavier Worthy and Kingsley Suamataia on the offensive line can move the ball against this unit, but it's going to be difficult. Defensively, staying on that same topic of moving the ball versus the Ravens, they lost Patrick Queen, and they lost Jadeveon Clowney, and then also they lost Geno Stone. So Geno Stone, you may not remember him. He didn't have too much of an impact in the AFC Championship game, but he did lead the Ravens in interceptions last year with 7 at the safety position. And then Jadeveon Clowney, he had a sack and tackle for loss versus the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. And then we all know Patrick Queen, really good linebacker, sideline to sideline, athletic. That's a player that's going to be missed for the Ravens, kind of similar to the way the Chiefs are going to miss Willie Gay. Except I believe Patrick Queen is better than Willie Gay. Lastly, moving to the offensive side of the ball for the Ravens, Mark Andrews will be 100% in this game. If you remember in the AFC Championship game, he was nursing a leg injury and he was having trouble, getting minutes in the game. They kind of trotted him out there at the beginning, and you didn't really see much of him for the rest of the game. So he will be 100% in this game, and Mark Andrews is Lamar Jackson's favorite target. He's been Lamar Jackson's favorite target ever since he got to Baltimore. So that's going to be a huge difference in this game for the Ravens that Mark Andrews is there to play. But looking at these two teams collectively, between the AFC Championship game and this first week of the 2024 season, I can say that I believe the Chiefs improved while the Ravens took a small step backwards. And I say this mainly because they lost 3 offensive linemen. They lost Patrick Queen, Jadeveon Clowney, Geno Stone, and then they lost Mike McDonald, who is a really good defensive coordinator. They had the number 1 defense last year. Now, that's not to say Zach Orr won't be good, but it might take him a while to get caught up to speed to really do what Mike McDonald was doing. The Chiefs, on the other hand, they have continuity in the coaching staff. They replaced Donovan Smith, who, in my opinion, the holding penalties caused the Chiefs so many problems last year. And then L'Jarius Sneed is really the big loss for the Chiefs. And can Joshua Williams step in and fill in L'Jarius Sneed's role this season is a big question that's yet to be answered. And overall, I'm still going to say that I think the Chiefs team improved more so than the Ravens did. And we'll see if that translates to a win for the Chiefs in opening week. We are almost there. We are knocking on the door. And I cannot wait to watch this game. It'll have huge implications down the line through the playoffs or for the playoffs. So it's a big game for the Chiefs, big game for the Ravens. They both know it's big. They've both been in big situations in the past. So it's going to feel like a playoff game week 1. And I am here for it. But that's all I got to say today. This is Gary signing out. Hope you all have a good rest of your week and you all enjoy real regular season football. It feels like it's been forever, but the drought is over. The NFL is back.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.